Hi again everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. This video is a brief update on a stock that I've covered a few times last year, that being Lordstown Motors, ticker symbol RIDE or RIDE. I feel given the crazy price action that has been experienced by the stock since its Q4 earnings were released the other day, it is perhaps worth taking a bit of a look at and getting an understanding for what the future may hold for the company. Since peaking at $29 in the late 2020 and early parts of 2021 EV rally, the stock has been on a continued slide as hype around the sector has declined and markets have generally cooled. Lordstown was one of a handful of EV stocks that particularly tumbled on the news that their then CEO and CFO had potentially fraudulated pre-sale numbers. Since then, the company has installed a new CEO in experienced auto industry hand Daniel Ninivaggi. Ninivaggi has been instrumental in steadying the company's fortunes and quickly evaporating balance sheet, particularly with a deal that is still having its final details worked out with Foxconn. So despite some key milestones being accomplished by the company and Ninivaggi being able to get the company to start its early production of their vehicle, the Endurance, the fortunes of the company's stock price have just continued to go down. This brings us to the Q4 results for Lordstown Motors that were released on Monday the 28th of February in the pre-market. Interestingly, the company posted much better results than analysts had been projecting, with the consensus being that RIDE shares were going to see a loss of about 77 cents per share, but the final result ended up being an adjusted loss of 42 cents per share. The loss obviously coming largely on the fact that they are still in the R&D stage of the company life and therefore have not made any vehicle deliveries to date. So it was kind of surprising that the stock did get poleaxed on a day when EV stocks generally performed quite well. Lordstown's stock dropped 25% on the Monday. By contrast, other EV stocks such as Lucid gained about 10% and Tesla gained about 8% on the day. RIDE stock did manage to bounce back by about 5% during Tuesday's trade, but still, with results being far better than analysts expected, it is perhaps worth understanding what is going on with the company. So to get that understanding, there are a number of key details to square away that have come out from Monday's earnings and since then. The first being that the CEO, Daniel Ninivaggi, has flagged that the company is going to be taking a more pared back approach to growth, signaling that their production goals have been cut right back to only producing and selling 500 vehicles this year, aiming for a five-fold increase to about 3,000 next year in 2023. However, the earnings call did flag concerns around the supply chain as something that could cause a further disruption here. The earlier revised target for sales in 2022 had been 3,000 and 32,000 in 2023 by contrast. So we are seeing a significant cutback from the company, and this is reflective of the conservative approach being taken by the board at the moment. It also potentially reflects the low demand for the vehicle that is potentially going around at the moment. Hence why former CEO and the CFO of the company are under investigation. Following the earnings call, the other major point worth mentioning is that one of the early investors in the company has sold out their stake, that being General Motors, who owned about 5% and had invested in helping Lordstown Motors get their plant ready for production. This was likely an expected exit from GM, but it is still news that has likely had a ripple effect into the outcomes of the stock. Further to this, there appears to be a number of hurdles that Lordstown is facing in finalising the details of their much touted deal with Foxconn. The RIDE board really have pinned a lot of the company's fortunes to this deal, so getting it right is very important, and I think this has added to the extra sense of caution from the Lordstown board in other areas of the business's activities. Lordstown did announce that they are also in negotiations to co-develop future vehicles with a number of other companies in the future, so it is good to see that the company is of a going concern. Obviously, given the tight cash situation, this conservative approach into the near future does give some reassurance that the company will still be around going forward. For shareholders with these kind of production goals, Lordstown has become more of a long-term play. The element of speculativeness is evaporating in the stock. Lordstown are being prudent to ensure their longer-term survival in the market, and this will be reflected in the company's share price. Of course, there's always the prospect of a takeover, which could deliver a surge in the stock price, but otherwise the stock is going to be a longer-term play in my mind. As a shareholder, I would want to see these goals that have been laid out in the recent results being met by the company, and we'll also be paying close attention to the developments around Foxconn and the other future vehicle development deals currently in negotiation. In saying this, does this make the current $2.69 price a good one? In my mind, yes, as from a rough calculation, there appears to be an underlying net asset value of just under $2 a share at the moment, though I also said that $5 a share with a tangible book value of $2.92 per share was quite good a few months ago. So here we are now. Anyway, it is clear that the company is being conservative about the future, and I think their low sales and production expectations does give some room for the company to potentially outperform what analysts may be forecasting for them, as it would not be totally unsurprising to see a company beat such low figures going forward, especially with the hopefully soon to be finalized Foxconn deal taking place. Still, in my mind, Ride is a long-term play. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Ride stock at the moment? Should we be steering clear, or is right now perhaps as good a time as any to be loading up on the stock? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Till next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.